Greetings, degenerates. St. Michael here. Welcome back to the Cathedral. Today's sermon is going to be on, well, the religion of peace. At it again, as there was another attack in Australia on Bondi Beach for Hanukkah. Weird. I thought it was those people that were causing all the violence and doing all the bad things, controlling the world and shit. As it seems to be a lot of the whole religion of peace, being so peaceful. Yeah, I find it funny that if good and evil exist as concepts, and each religion teaches their version of what they feel is good in order to get a perfect afterlife, why is it that really only one, maybe two, depending on what flag you wave, allowed to be attacked? You can't say anything about, the peace be upon him prophet that you can't even paint, but you can paint Jesus with your own bodily fluids. That seems a bit unfair. But whatever, what am I? But in the midst of all this, and it's been an eventful 24 hours, as not only did that happen, famous actor and director Rob Reiner, director of movies such as Stand By Me and A Few Good Men, as well as acting in his quite possibly most iconic role in Meathead in the sitcom All in the Family, was with his wife stabbed in their home sometime yesterday and allegedly being done by their own son, Nick. I don't like the guy. He was a massive left-wing douche. I mean, my only knowledge of him really, beyond his directorial endeavors, was when he was in South Park.
My goo! My precious goo!
Still, F's regardless. But in the midst of all of this peace that the religion of such just wishes to expel with such ferocity that they flood the gates into Europe and America and most of Western civilization, what is the Prime Minister of Australia really worried about? More potential attacks? Maybe even more violent and with such religious fervor? No. Because if you've ever even watched videos by Josh Dub or Mully, you'll know that they can't even get plastic guns into their country without immense governmental scrutiny. So this is just showing that guns are not the problem. Islam is. End of discussion. But the Australian Prime Minister warns about right-wing extremist groups after Muslim father and... it was two. I thought it was a lone gunman. My mistake. Shot up a Hanukkah event. Wow, there's a lot in that headline. So the problem isn't a religion that calls for people who follow their prophet and their God to kill others who don't believe them, or at the very least subjugate them with taxation. No, the real problem is the reaction of people fucking sick and tired of this. And this is why people like Fuentes and Candace Owens are getting buku amount of views. Because you're making them popular by the more and more pushing of this seemingly... Look, I don't think the left really ultimately cares about race. If they could push anti-black, anti-Asian, which they've already done, apparently, because Asians are now white now because they're too successful, they would. It's just far easier to push white guilt in this country than it is anything. I mean, you could easily have anti-slave guilt in the Middle East where it, at least for the Africans, started. But they can't because only white Christians feel bad about what happened, so that they are more likely to have guilt. I don't have guilt, as I did in my previous video. I don't care. I wasn't involved, neither were you. But I do feel bad that it happens. I feel bad that people are owned by other people. So Islam doesn't, because it doesn't see non-Islam or non-Muslims as people. Whereas in the Bible, the book that says, it promotes slavery, no, it doesn't. You're supposed to see even the slave as a person, which set the stage for the releasing of them and the removing of it by the Christian West. So, right-wing extremism, that's the real problem. Of course it is. Nope, not satire. Prime Minister of Australia says the true threat is right-wing extremist groups after an Islamic terrorist attack. So, right-wing extremism is the real threat, even though the actual threat was by an Islamic terrorist. Okay. Well, let's take a listen to this fucktard.
We take ASIO's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of ASIO has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremism.
Okay, you have legitimate anti-Semitism right fucking here, and you're still pushing it on the right? No, the real anti-Semitism is coming from people like this who don't like Jews or Christians, really. You have this is why the Oppression Olympics is so fucking stupid, because it's this Ouroboros of who's really more oppressed. Well, this group did the bad thing, but they're super oppressed, so let's push it off to this group. It's so irritating.
Extremist groups as well, and we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
The right didn't do this. The actual anti-Semitic right didn't do this. It was really the anti-Semitic left. By the way, the alt-right and the alt-left, they're the same thing. The right-wing people like Fuentes and all that shit, they just can't admit that they're Marxist because they think Marx equals Jew, because they don't realize his actual words. So it's really just left. But this is the pet of the left, which is funny because Hitler himself, which is why Hitler is left-wing, not right-wing, he loved Islam. He loved using Islam to push the idea of violence against people he didn't like, which were Christians and Jews. Two Islamic migrants, a father and son no less, killed at least 15 people on Sunday at a Jewish beach party celebrating the start of Hanukkah. Bondi Beach terrorists were father and son who legally owned 6 guns. Okay, I don't know how true that is, because Australia has immensely strong gun control. Like, I think they did a buyback program not too long ago, or a couple of years ago, and, well, at least, father and son, family activities of butchering Jewish celebrators of a holiday. Yay. But they legally own 6 guns. Well, I mean, they're migrants. They probably got a pass. They probably didn't do real background checks because, we don't want to be mean to the fucking migrant. Oy. Here is a close-up video of the son taking post shots. I don't want to watch that. No, sorry, I'm not watching that. If you wish to, go look it up. I'm not. This means, of course, that the left-wing globalists have to remind us that anti-Semitism and the rise of the right-wing extremist groups are the problem. Okay, I don't like the idea of labeling everything anti-Semitic. I understand that that word can get thrown around as quickly as the word Nazi or racist or woke or incel or whatever. But I'm sorry. And not that certain people in the community are helping the concept of the view of Jewish people. There's bad actors everywhere. And I know there's a lot of factors involved. A lot of people don't want to look into well, why is there so many Jews in all these, high up groups? Well, Jews are very successful no matter where they are. So that means in bad groups, they're going to be successful and do bad things. If they're in good groups, they're going to be successful and do good things. They're very successful in doctoral and lawyer, but they're also very successful in the porn industry and in, OnlyFans and shit. It's like, yeah, you gotta understand. They're very successful as a group. The most common concept for an IQ test is delayed gratification. That is what Christianity and Judaism promote. The idea of I'm going to withhold myself of certain things now so that I can get to a better beyond, which is heaven, right? That is delaying gratification. So, not eating certain things, not saying certain things, not doing certain things, waiting until marriage, all that kind of shit. So, yes, they're successful in very perverted and very beneficial aspects of life. That's just how it is. But there is a rise of anti-Semitism. There absolutely is. And it's mostly from the left. Because the reality is the left never cared about Jews. They never cared about blacks. They wanted pets. Australia has some of the strictest gun laws in the world. They still suffered an Islamic terror attack. You cannot defeat an ideology you are too afraid to name. Exactly. And again, that is the entire premise of this channel. Call out demons. If you cannot call a demon by its name, you will not defeat it. If you cannot address the illness, you cannot cure it. That is the point. And if they can have some of the strictest gun laws in the world and still have gun crime, you are not going to stop this no matter what law you impose. So you might as well just say, hey, we need a Second Amendment. So this is why I don't care about foreigner opinions on America and especially the gun problem. I don't care. Australia still has mass stabbings with machetes. People are going to hurt people whether you want it or not. And Islam is going to do so because they are called to do so. Since self-preservation is considered right-wing extremism, he's probably about to be correct. Yeah. This is the reason why right-wing terror statistics are so high, because they lump the Muslims in with everything. Yes, apparently Muslims are right-wing extremists. The left really... literally mass imports these people, yes. Then they blame the right when the migrants commit crimes. Yeah, they're pushing these people into systems, having them commit crimes, and then blame it on those people to justify more influx and more crime. The jihadi father-son duo was able to spend 20 long minutes shooting beachgoers. 20 minutes! This is why calling the cops, like, I'm all for the cops, but 20 minutes of waiting for a cop versus pull it right out of your freaking holster and start pumping lead into these fucks? Yeah. Armed with bolt-action rifle and a shotgun. So it wasn't even the big scary AR-15. It was a bolt-action rifle and a shotgun. And they killed 15 people. And they would have killed more. No one intervened. No one could. Not even the police, which is sad, who could be seen hiding instead of... Okay, so the police were there. They were just being pussies. Oh, this is Australia, you're fucked. The eyewitness said 4 officers did nothing. New Bondi Beach terror attack survivor says police officers did nothing for 20 minutes. So this was like that recent school shooting where the cops just sat and did nothing, eating donuts, jerking off. They shoot, change the magazine, and just shoot, said witness Shmulik Shkuri. I can't pronounce names. 20 minutes was 4 police. There was 4 policemen. Okay, take a look. Oh. There was 4 policemen. Nobody fired back. 4 policemen. They didn't give fire back. I don't understand why. No, probably because they were letting it happen.
Yes, there was 2 shooters, one on the bridge, one under the bridge. Just start to shoot for 20 minutes. They shoot, change the magazine and just shoot. Simple as that. 20 minutes was 4 policemen there. Nobody gave fire back. Nothing. Like they are froze. Like for it looked like 20 minutes. Like, and they shoot. The guy change magazine.
And that 20 minutes had to feel like an eternity in that kind of situation.
I look at him all the time. I was 2 of my babies under me, and I look at that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, poor guy. I hope they're okay.
And it's just rifle and a pistol, and just shoot. And the other one was under. They start to come close to the audience. I think one of the people took his rifle and shoot him. That's one of them. That's what I saw. I didn't know how much I saw, but...
Who were they targeting?
Oh, all the crowd. Anyone. Jewish. Just shoot. Doesn't matter who. Men, all kids, everyone was no.
Did they say anything?
I couldn't hear. Like the shooting was so loud that we couldn't hear if they say. I was too far. Like he was on the bridge, I was near the tent. So, but I saw. I look at him. I look what he shot. I look at his rifle. He aimed. He did. He really like take his time. He should take his time. And 4 policemen there didn't give fire back. I don't understand why. Why?
Because they wanted it to happen. They wanted it to continue. Or they were just being told to stand down, which is also likely. Oh God, this is why, look, I'm all for, women doing what, autonomy and picking jobs, but this is why women should not be on frontline jobs. They should not be firemen. They should not be soldiers. They should not be police officers. And it should be a very, very, very rare that any of them make it. And this is what happens when you have lower standards. We don't want fat cops, whether they're male or female, and we don't need female cops because they just can't handle. They don't have upper body strength. They don't have the bone density. They don't have muscle mass. They just can't do it. And they also don't have that kind of quick time event mentality of do something right then and there. There's a police station right next to the heavily trafficked promenade where the shooting took place, yet no help arrived until the Lebanese immigrant risked his life to grab the rifle from one of the attackers. This is Ahmed Al-Hachmed, whatever. He is a 43-year-old man and owner of a fruit shop by cabbages in Sutherland, Australia. Today, he disarmed a terrorist targeting a Hanukkah celebration, already having killed 12 people and injured more than 60. Ahmed is a hero and saved many more lives. Yeah. And it doesn't matter his name. It doesn't matter if he was, he said where is it? He's a fruit shop owner, whatever. He stopped more people from being killed. Ahmed is a real-life hero. Last night, his incredible bravery no doubt saves countless lives when he disarmed a terrorist at enormous personal risk. It was an honor to spend time with him just now and to pass on thanks of the people across New South Wales. I hope he recovers. Hope he gets... because this was fucking insane. In the face of growing Islamic violence, to fulfill the Quranic commands to fight Christians and Jews, Quran 551, 582, 929, among others, as well as the central Islamic belief that the whole of the world must be subjugated to Islam before Judgment Day, liberal Western leaders are continuing to mass import Muslims. And yes, this is how Islam is said to bring about who they call the Mahdi. We call the Antichrist. They call their Messiah. They think the entire world will be subjugated under Islam, and that will bring out the Messiah, which, if you read the book of Revelation, is kind of how it says the Antichrist will show up. I mean, if you read book of Revelation about the Antichrist, it's a total description of the Muslim Mahdi. So, just giving more credit to the fact that Allah is Satan. In a double insult to their countrymen, they then hide the truth of the Islamic worldview when Muslims carry out the violence prescribed by their religious teachings, despite 1,400 years of Islamic violence that still dominates the politics of dozens of countries in 2020. Yeah, a large amount of Islam. And a large amount of just, not even just terrorist Muslims, just everyday Muslims around the world are okay with violence if it means the promotion of Islam, because that's what it says to do. This is beyond parody. Okay, let's take a look at what this jagoff has to say. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns says that he will do everything possible to keep the community safe, with law reform almost certain. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese echoed the message, saying he will consider He will A, consider legislative response likened to John Howard's Port Arthur reforms. Australians, let me know what that means. I have no idea.
But obviously, a terrorist has been able to hold a firearms license. If changes need to be made to our gun laws in New South Wales, will you make changes?
The short answer is yes. We're looking.
Yes, there needs to be reform on the gun laws. Allow citizens to have them.
At that right now. Obviously, we're in the early stages of this investigation. New South Wales Police need to provide all the details of this inquiry to the government, but I made it clear last night that we will take every step we possibly can to keep our community safe, and we'll be looking at law reform along that route. And this is an intolerable situation. This is an attempt to break apart.
By who? Who's creating the intolerance? Is it the people you're trying to be tolerant of?
Our social life, to divide Australian against Australian. There's a massive role for the government, New South.
No, there really isn't. There's a massive role for the people to self-defend.
South Wales Police and regular citizens to play here to ensure that we keep our community safe, and I won't hesitate to move legislation if it's required. Now, I think in these circumstances it's important that no stone is left unturned, and New South Wales
Careful about turning stones in Australia. You could be fucking bit by who knows what.
Police are given time to conduct that investigation, but we have to do everything we possibly can to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Then kick out the Muslims.
Part of that may be law reform, almost certainly it will be.
So more gun control, because that's going to work.
Part of it will be a comprehensive police response, but it also goes down to the level of confronting racism and anti-Semitism in our...
But who is committing it? This was a Muslim who went after Jewish people celebrating Hanukkah. This wasn't some right-wing, alt-right Nazi fucking warpath, you stupid fucking cuck.
Our community.
Gun crackdown like John Howard carried out after Port Arthur. He took leadership on that, will you?
Well, we will look at whatever is necessary, whatever comes out of this investigation. If there is any action required in terms of legislative response, we will certainly have it.
So, again, just more gun control, because that's going to work. Authorities confirm 2 active IED, improvised explosive devices, bombs were found at Bondi Beach yesterday. It's likely that the bombs malfunctioned and that the massacre could have been worse. Yes, so not only did these fucking monsters have, guns, not the big scary black guns like the AR, they just had shotguns, apparently a pistol, and a bolt-action rifle. They had fucking probably homemade bombs like the fucking Boston Marathon bomber just stuffed into a crock pot. This was meant absolutely to cause massive amounts of damage, harm, and death. And it was at the reasoning of Muhammad and his fucking ilk to cause death. This anti-Semitism wasn't caused by right-wing people on the internet talking about how, we don't believe the Holocaust and all this fucking shit. No, this was caused by a book written 1,400 years ago that they say is perfect, but there's actual multiple versions of it. And they say Islam is about peace. Yeah, they want peace. They want a piece of you, a piece of me, and a piece of everyone all over the place. Hamas supporters disrupt the vigil for the Bondi Beach massacre. They are protesting a vigil for a 10-year-old girl and 15 others. Jesus Christ, a 10-year-old girl was shot and killed. These people are just this. This is fucking evil. Absolutely evil. So they kill. Supporters of this kill 15 people. And Hamas says, no, you can't have a vigil because you deserve this for not being Muslim.
Get out of here.
It's not appropriate. Take it off of any escalator. It's not appropriate.
Step the crowd back a bit to the right. Just turn and step the crowd back a bit to the right. Turn and step the crowd back. Yeah. Turn and step the crowd back. Just step the crowd back just a little bit more. Just a couple over here. Just step the crowd back so the boss can do his job. Boss can do his job here. Here, wait. Just come in, just want to ask a fellow citizen a question.
So, no, this is just. There you have it. The religion of peace. At it again. Shooting 15 people. One of them is a little girl not even old enough to hit puberty, which is too old for Muhammad. And the response is, you don't deserve this because Israel. That's the reasoning. I saw one of the comments say, but you ignore when Israel does the same thing. Look, if Israel does this in the Middle East, it's fucking horrible. And you gotta understand, war fucking sucks. Shit happens. But a lot of what is, being said is utter horseshit to push the idea that Muslims and Islam and Palestine is the true victims. No, they're not. No ceasefire has ever been achieved because Palestine doesn't fucking want it. Specifically, Hamas and their fucking ilk. So, we need to get these people out. I have my campaign for president. You have 3 options as a Muslim in this country. 1, you stay the fuck over there because we don't want you here because you don't really want to be here to assimilate and be a part of the wonderfulness that is the melting pot of America and the West as a whole. So you don't get to come here. 2, you become secular, which means you're basically just Muslim in name only. You may not eat bacon and you may pray on a rug. That's it. Or 3, you convert to Christianity and you become part of the West, the greatest civilization ever. And specifically, America, the greatest nation ever. That's it. You don't get to come here and say, oh, we need this little group of us and we need to impose Sharia law. No. Sharia law is not compatible with anything, and certainly nothing in the West or in America. Fuck you, fuck off, and go back to your camel-humping desert people. Don't want you here. And more of this is going to happen when you influx more and more of these retards, and it's going to get to the point where people like me, white Christian men, have enough. And I can't blame them. I don't condone violence. I condone self-defense. But murder masquerading as self-defense is not it. That's why Luigi Mansion is absolutely a murderer. But it's going to be on you, lefties, and you are solely responsible when the pendulum swings and it hits you in the ass. And I want to be there when you realize it. Anyways, thanks for dropping by. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and remember, God bless, and may demons fear when you wake in the morning.